The Velthari Empire had conquered 17 star systems in less than 100 years. Their warships were massive and powerful, blocking out the light of suns wherever they appeared. Their name was spoken in fear across the galaxy, and no species had ever defeated them in battle. They moved from world to world, taking what they wanted, destroying anyone who stood against them. When their long-range sensors first detected Earth, a small blue planet circling a yellow star at the edge of the galaxy, the Velthari commanders laughed. They saw a primitive civilization that had barely learned to travel between planets in their own solar system. They saw divided nations fighting among themselves. They saw weakness everywhere they looked. Admiral Zoroth stood on the bridge of his flagship. The Eternal Dominion, watching the holographic display of Earth rotate slowly before him. His pale blue skin glowed in the light of the tactical screens. His four eyes moved across the data with growing amusement. His mandibles clicked together, which was how his species laughed. "Report," he commanded, his voice deep and confident. His tactical officer, a young Velthari named Keth, pulled up the information they had gathered. The planet has approximately 8 billion inhabitants. They call themselves humans. They have no unified government. Their military forces are scattered and poorly organized. Their largest warship is smaller than our smallest transport vessel. How many ships do they have? Zoroth asked, though he already knew the answer would disappoint him. Approximately 300 combat-capable vessels, Admiral. Most are positioned near their homeworld or their small colony on the fourth planet in their system. Zoroth's mandibles clicked again. 300 ships. We brought 12,000. This will not even be a proper battle. It will be an extermination. He turned to look at his bridge crew, all of them veterans of countless conquests. They had destroyed civilizations far more advanced than these humans. They had crushed empires that had existed for thousands of years. Earth would be nothing more than another easy victory, another world to add to their empire. "Begin the approach," Zoroth ordered. "Standard invasion protocol. We will be done here within one rotation." Far across the solar system on the planet Earth, alarms were already sounding. The massive alien fleet had been detected the moment it entered the outer edges of the system. Telescopes and sensors tracked every ship, counting them, measuring them, trying to understand what was coming. In Geneva, Switzerland, United Earth Defense Council gathered in an emergency session. Leaders from every major nation sat around a curved table, their faces pale and frightened on the video screens that connected them. At the head of the room stood General Catherine Moore, a woman of 57 years with gray streaks in her dark hair and eyes that had seen many battles. "They have refused all attempts at communication," she announced, her voice calm despite the fear she felt inside. "They are not interested in talking. Their fleet is currently holding position near Saturn, but based on their speed and direction, they will reach Earth in approximately 72 hours. The room erupted in worried voices. Some demanded immediate evacuation. Others called for surrender. A few suggested launching nuclear weapons at the approaching fleet. Secretary General Daniel Price raised his hand for silence. He was a tall man with kind eyes that now looked very tired. "General Moore, what are our military options?" Catherine took a deep breath. She had prepared for this moment her entire career, hoping it would never come. "If we engage them directly, we will lose. Their ships are bigger, faster, and more powerful than anything we have. Their numbers are overwhelming. Our simulations showed that in a direct battle, our entire fleet would be destroyed in less than 1 hour." Silence fell over the room. On the screens behind Catherine, the alien armada glittered like a cloud of deadly metal insects against the black emptiness of space. However, Catherine continued, and something in her voice made everyone pay attention. "Direct engagement is not our only option." She pressed a button on her control pad, and the display changed. Instead of the alien fleet, it now showed a network of hidden facilities spread across Earth and throughout the solar system. For the past 80 years, ever since we recovered technology from an alien craft that crashed in the American desert, humanity has been preparing for this day. We have built weapons that do not appear on any public record. We have trained soldiers in secret facilities. We have developed technology that we have hidden from everyone, including ourselves. She looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each leader in turn. The aliens have studied us. They have watched our television broadcasts and intercepted our radio signals. They have seen our wars and our divisions. They believe they understand us perfectly. A small smile crossed her face. They are wrong. In the depths of space, aboard a small research vessel called the Pioneer, a crew of 12 humans waited in their cells. They had been captured by a Velthari scout ship 3 months earlier, near the planet Jupiter. They had been questioned and studied. The aliens had learned everything about human civilization from them, at least. That was what the aliens believed. Captain Nathan Cole sat in his cell, counting the hours until the invasion began. He was 42 years old, with a weathered face and calm brown eyes. Every member of his crew had volunteered for this mission, knowing they might never return home. Every answer they had given to their captors had been carefully prepared in advance. Every secret they had revealed had been a lie. The Velthari thought they had captured a random research vessel. In reality, the Pioneer had allowed itself to be caught. Its crew had spent years training for their roles, memorizing false information, preparing to be the perfect prisoners now. As the alien fleet moved toward Earth, Nathan allowed himself a small moment of satisfaction. The trap was set. The enemy was confident. Everything was going according to plan. On Earth, the evacuation of major cities had begun. Billions of people moved into underground shelters that had been built over decades. The surface of the planet grew quiet and empty. Television broadcasts showed scenes of panic and despair, leaders begging for mercy and citizens crying in fear. All of it was fake. Every news report, every emergency broadcast, every desperate plea for peace was a performance designed for alien eyes. The real communications traveled through hidden channels that the Velthari could never detect, in a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. Dr. Linda Foster watched her monitors and waited. She was 62 years old, with white hair and steady hands. She had spent her entire life building the weapon that would save humanity. "They are coming," she said quietly to her team. "Let them come. Let them believe they have already won." Outside, the stars continued to shine. The alien fleet continued its approach, and humanity continued to play its role, pretending to be exactly what its enemies expected: weak, divided. The Velthari had conquered 17 star systems. They had never lost a battle. They had never faced an enemy that was smarter than they appeared in 72 hours. Everything would change. The Velthari had studied humanity for 6 months before sending their invasion fleet. They had captured human prisoners, intercepted thousands of communications, and analyzed every piece of data they could find. They believed they understood these strange creatures perfectly. Humans were emotional and irrational. They fought among themselves constantly, dividing into hundreds of separate nations that could never agree on anything. Their technology was primitive, barely advanced enough to send small ships to nearby planets. They had no defense against a proper military force. Admiral Zorath reviewed these reports every day as his fleet moved closer to Earth. Each report confirmed what he already knew. This invasion would be the easiest victory of his career. "The humans have begun broadcasting surrender requests," his communications officer reported. "They are begging for mercy. Their leaders are arguing among themselves about whether to fight or submit." Zorath waved one of his forearms dismissively. "Let them beg. It will not change their fate. Continue monitoring their communications. I want to know everything they say." On Earth, the broadcasts continued. Secretary General Daniel Price appeared on every channel, his face wet with tears, pleading for the aliens to spare humanity. World leaders argued loudly about surrender terms. Military commanders announced that their forces were retreating to protect civilian populations. Emergency broadcasts warned citizens to stay in their homes and prepare for occupation. Every word was a lie, Commander. Samuel Drake stood on the bridge of the ESS Defiance, one of the oldest warships in Earth's visible fleet. He was 38 years old, with short dark hair and eyes that missed nothing. Around him, his crew worked in focused silence, each person knowing exactly what role they had to play. "How are the broadcasts going?" Samuel asked his communications officer, Lieutenant Maria Santos. Maria checked her screens. "The Velthari are receiving everything. They have been recording Secretary General Price's surrender speech for the past 3 hours. Their signals show high confidence levels, good Samuel replied. The more confident they are, the less careful they will be. The Defiance was an old ship, at least according to public records. Its weapons were outdated, its engines were slow, and its armor was thin. Any Velthry cruiser could destroy it in seconds. But public records lied, hidden beneath the old exterior. The Defiance carried technology that would have seemed impossible to anyone outside of humanity's most secret programs. Its engines could accelerate to speeds that matched Velthry warships. Its weapons fired projectiles that could punch through alien shields. Its sensors could detect enemy ships from across the solar system. Every ship in Earth's visible fleet had similar secrets. They looked weak on the outside because they were designed to look weak. The aliens had to believe they were facing an inferior enemy, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. In a facility that appeared on no map, Dr. Linda Foster made her final preparations. The chamber around her hummed with power, massive generators feeding energy into a weapon that had taken decades to build. "Run the calculations again," she ordered her assistant. Kevin Park. Kevin was young, barely 30 years old. But he was one of the most brilliant physicists on the planet. His fingers moved across his console as he double-checked their work for the 100th time. "All calculations confirmed," he announced. "The harmonic disruption array is ready to fire. We can hit any target within 1 million kilometers of Earth." Linda nodded slowly. The weapon they had created did not fire missiles or energy beams. Instead, it found the specific vibration frequency of any material and amplified it until the material destroyed itself from the inside. They had tested it on asteroids, on old ships, on samples of alien metal recovered from crashed vessels over the decades. They had never used it on living targets before. "The Velthry fleet is entering the inner solar system," Kevin reported. "They should reach Earth's orbit in 12 hours. "Good," Linda said quietly. "Let them come close. We need them all within range." In orbit around Saturn, the Velthry fleet prepared for the final approach. 12,000 warships moved in perfect formation, their commanders already planning how they would divide Earth's resources among themselves. Admiral Zoreth called his senior officers to the bridge for a final briefing. "The humans have accepted their defeat," he announced. "Their military forces are withdrawing to protect their population centers. We will send our ground troops first to secure the major cities, then bring the main fleet into orbit to complete the occupation." One of his officers, a veteran named Cirith, raised a question. "Admiral, should we be concerned about the lack of resistance? Most species at least attempt to fight back." Zoroth's mandibles clicked with amusement. "These humans are cowards, Cirith. They know they cannot win, so they choose submission. It is the intelligent choice, even if it is pathetic. Their weakness makes our job easier." The fleet began its approach. Transport ships carrying ground troops moved ahead of the main formation, ready to land on Earth's surface within hours. On the planet below, the cities stood empty and silent. 8 billion humans had moved into underground shelters, leaving behind homes and offices and streets that looked abandoned. From orbit, it would appear that the population was hiding in fear. In reality, they were clearing the battlefield. General Catherine Moore stood in a command center buried 1 kilometer beneath the city of Denver. Screens surrounded her, showing the positions of every Velthry ship, every transport, every soldier. "The first wave of transports will reach the atmosphere in 2 hours, her tactical officer reported. Catherine studied the displays carefully. "Let them land. Let them see the empty cities. Let them report back to their admiral that humanity has given up. And then," the officer asked. Catherine's expression hardened. "Then we show them what humans are really capable of. Across the planet, in hidden bunkers and secret facilities, humanity's true military forces waited. Soldiers in advanced powered armor checked their weapons. Pilots sat in fighters that could outmaneuver anything the Velthary had. Scientists monitored energy readings from devices that could tear matter apart at the atomic level. For 80 years, humanity had been preparing for this moment. They had played the role of a weak, divided species while secretly building the most advanced military force in the galaxy. The Velthari thought they were about to conquer Earth. They had no idea that Earth was about to conquer them. The first Velthari transport ships broke through Earth's atmosphere just as the sun rose over the Pacific Ocean. They descended on 4 cities at once: New York, Beijing, London, and Moscow. Each transport carried 100 Velthari soldiers equipped with plasma weapons and personal energy shields, enough firepower to crush any resistance. Ground Commander Vorith led the assault on New York. He was a decorated veteran who had conquered 3 planets before this mission. As his transport settled onto the empty streets of Manhattan, he felt almost disappointed. Where was the enemy? Where was the challenge? All units spread out and secure the area, he ordered through his communication device. Search every building. Find the humans. His soldiers moved through the silent streets like ghosts. They broke down doors and searched offices. They scanned apartment buildings and subway tunnels. They found nothing but abandoned possessions and cold cups of coffee left on desks. "Commander," one of his soldiers reported, "the humans are gone. Our sensors detect life signs underground, but the surface is completely empty." Vorith frowned. This was unexpected. Most species tried to defend their homes, even when they knew they would lose. These humans had simply left. "Report to the Admiral," he ordered. "Tell him the cities are abandoned. The population has retreated to underground structures." Far above Earth, aboard the Eternal Dominion, Admiral Zoreth received the report with growing irritation. "Underground. They are hiding like animals. Begin excavation operations. Show them that there is no place they can hide from the Velthari Empire." "Admiral," his sensor officer interrupted. "We are detecting unusual energy readings from multiple points on the planet's surface." Zorath turned sharply. "What kind of energy readings?" "Unknown, sir. The signature does not match anything in our database. It appears to be some kind of harmonic vibration pattern. The readings are increasing in intensity." Before Zoroth could respond, alarms began screaming across the bridge. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. Officers shouted in confusion and fear. "Admiral, we are detecting massive energy buildup from the planet." "Multiple sources?" "They are targeting our fleet." Zorath stared at the tactical display in disbelief. This was impossible. The humans had no weapons capable of threatening his ships. They had nothing that could even scratch the hull of a Velthari cruiser. "Raise shields. All ships, defensive formation," he commanded. He was too late, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Dr. Linda Foster pressed the activation button. The harmonic disruption array fired. There was no visible beam, no flash of light, no explosion. Instead, there was a sound that traveled through space itself. A deep thrumming vibration that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Every Velthari on every ship felt it in their bones, a terrible shaking that grew stronger with each passing second. "What is happening?" Zoroth demanded. His voice was lost in the chaos of alarms and screaming metal. The Eternal Dominion began to shake. The walls groaned like wounded animals. Cracks appeared in the hull, spreading like lightning across the surface of the ship. Consoles exploded. The deck buckled beneath Zoroth's feet. Across Earth's orbit, 4,000 Velthari warships experienced the same fate. The weapon had found the specific vibration frequency of their hull material and amplified it until the molecular bonds simply fell apart. Ships did not explode. They disintegrated, breaking into smaller and smaller pieces until nothing remained but clouds of metallic dust. In 3 minutes, 1/3 of the Velthari fleet ceased to exist. The survivors were thrown into complete panic. Ships that had been in formation moments ago now scattered in every direction, their crews desperate to escape the invisible death that had claimed their companions. Communications channels filled with screams and prayers. Admiral Zoreth managed to reach an escape pod just before the Eternal Dominion came apart around him. He tumbled through space, watching through the small window as his mighty flagship became dust. All around him, other ships were suffering the same fate. "This is impossible," he whispered. "They are primitives. They cannot do this. And they were not finished. On the surface of Earth, Commander Vorith and his ground troops suddenly found themselves surrounded. Human soldiers emerged from hidden positions in every direction. They wore armor that glowed with strange energy. They carried weapons that Vorith had never seen before. "Surrender or die," a voice announced through external speakers. "You have 10 seconds to drop your weapons." Vorith stared at the humans in shock. These were not the weak creatures his intelligence reports had described. These were trained warriors with advanced equipment. Everything he had been told was a lie. "This is some kind of trick," he said. "You cannot defeat us. We are the Velthri." One of the humans stepped forward. His armor was marked with command insignia. When his helmet opened, it revealed the face of Commander Samuel Drake, calm and determined. "The Velthri conquered 17 star systems because no one expected you," Samuel said. "No one prepared for you. Earth is different. We knew you were coming. We have known for 80 years. Every piece of information you gathered about us was exactly what we wanted you to believe." He raised his weapon. Around him, 500 human soldiers did the same. "Now drop your weapons. This is your last warning." In orbit, the surviving Velthri ships were running. The fleet that had arrived with such confidence was now a scattered mess of frightened vessels, each one trying to escape the range of Earth's terrible weapon. Thousands of ships had been destroyed. Thousands more were damaged and struggling to function. In her mountain facility, Dr. Linda Foster watched the chaos with grim satisfaction. "Begin second wave targeting," she ordered. "Any ship that is not accelerating away from Earth is a valid target." The harmonic disruption array hummed as it prepared to fire again. Earth was not finished yet. The battle lasted less than 6 hours. When it was over, the mighty Velthri 7th Fleet existed only as clouds of debris drifting through Earth's orbit. Of the 12,000 warships that had come to conquer humanity, fewer than 200 managed to escape. The rest were destroyed by the harmonic disruption array or captured by Earth's hidden defense forces. On the ground, Velthri soldiers surrendered by the thousands. They had expected to face frightened civilians with primitive weapons. Instead, they found themselves outmatched at every turn. Human soldiers in powered armor moved faster and hit harder than anything the Velthri had anticipated. Human weapons pierced their shields as if they were paper. Human tactics anticipated their every move. Commander Vorith was among the prisoners. He sat in a holding cell beneath the streets of New York, staring at the wall and trying to understand what had happened. His entire understanding of the universe had collapsed in a single day. A door opened and a human woman entered. She was older, with gray hair and sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. Vorith recognized the insignia on her uniform. This was one of their military leaders. "I am General Catherine Moore," she said, sitting down across from him. "I have some questions for you. But first, I thought you might want some answers of your own." Vorith looked at her with a mixture of fear and anger. "How did you do this? Our intelligence said you were primitives. Our scans showed no advanced technology. Everything we learned about your species said you were weak and divided." Catherine nodded slowly. "Everything you learned was exactly what we wanted you to learn." She pulled out a small device and projected an image into the air between them. It showed a crashed spacecraft, damaged but recognizable as Velthri design. "In 1952, one of your scout ships crashed in the desert of North America. We recovered it before your people could find it. We studied it. We learned from it. And we realized something very important." She leaned forward, her eyes locked on Vorith's. "We realized that we were not alone in the universe. We realized that other species existed out there, species with technology far beyond our own. And we realized that some of those species might not be friendly." Vorith's mandibles clicked nervously. "You have known about us for that long?" "More than 70 of your years?" 80 years, Catherine confirmed. 80 years of secret preparation. We built weapons in hidden facilities. We trained soldiers in underground bases. We developed technology that we showed to no one, not even our own people. And most importantly, we created a false image of ourselves to show to anyone who might be watching. The image changed. showing clips of Earth's television broadcasts, its public military exercises, its seemingly chaotic political debates. Every signal we sent into space was designed to make us look weak. Every military exercise was performed with outdated equipment. Every political argument was real enough, but we made sure our disagreements looked worse than they actually were. Borith shook his head in disbelief. But we captured one of your ships. We interrogated the crew. They told us everything about your civilization. Catherine smiled, and there was no warmth in it. The Pioneer, Captain Nathan Cole and his crew. Every single one of them volunteered to be captured. They spent years memorizing false information, learning to reveal it under interrogation in ways that would seem believable. Everything they told you was a lie. Across the planet, similar conversations were taking place. Velthari prisoners were learning the truth about the species they had tried to conquer. Humanity had not been weak. Humanity had been waiting in his escape pod, drifting through the debris field that had once been his fleet. Admiral Zorith was rescued by one of the few surviving Velthari ships. He was brought aboard in a state of shock, barely able to speak. "Admiral," the ship's captain reported nervously, "we have received a message from the humans. They are demanding that all surviving ships surrender immediately. They say any ship that attempts to flee will be tracked and destroyed." Zorath looked at the captain with hollow eyes. "Surrender. The Velthari Empire does not surrender. Admiral, we have fewer than 200 ships remaining. Most are damaged. We have no way to fight that weapon. If we try to run, they will catch us." For a long moment, Zorath said nothing. Then, slowly, he nodded. "Send the message. Tell them we accept their terms." It was the first time in the history of the Velthari Empire that one of their fleets had surrendered. On Earth. The news spread quickly. People emerged from underground shelters to see the debris of alien warships falling through the atmosphere like shooting stars. For the first time in human history, the entire species had worked together against a common enemy. For the first time, they had won. In her mountain facility, Dr. Linda Foster finally allowed herself to rest. She sat in her chair, watching the monitors show the last Velthari. Ships powering down their weapons and raising surrender flags. Kevin Park approached her with a cup of coffee. "We did it," he said quietly. "We actually did it." Linda took the cup with trembling hands. "We survived today, but this is just the beginning. The Velthari Empire is vast. When word reaches their homeworld about what happened here, they will send more ships. Many more. Will the weapon work against a larger fleet?" Linda was silent for a moment. "It will work against any fleet. But eventually, they will find a way to counter it. Every weapon can be defeated eventually. We need to be ready for that day." She looked up at the young physicist with tired but determined eyes. "Start working on the next generation. We have a lot of work to do." 3 months passed after the failed invasion. Earth had changed in ways that no one could have predicted. The secret was out. Every citizen now knew the truth about their planet's hidden defenses, about the decades of preparation, about the brave men and women who had worked in silence to protect their world. The Velthari prisoners were treated fairly. They were given food, shelter, and medical care. Some humans wanted revenge for the invasion attempt, but the world's leaders chose a different path. Cruelty would only create more enemies. Mercy might create something else entirely. Admiral Zoroth spent his days in a comfortable prison facility, watching human news broadcasts and reading human books. He was trying to understand the species that had defeated him so completely. The more he learned, the more confused he became. "You are strange creatures," he told General Catherine Moore during one of her visits. "You fight among yourselves constantly, yet you united against us without hesitation. You appear weak to outsiders, yet you possess terrible weapons. Nothing about you makes sense." Catherine sat across from him with a cup of tea. "Perhaps that is our greatest strength. We do not make sense even to ourselves sometimes. Our divisions are real, but so is our unity when it matters. We argue about everything, but we protect our own. And the deception? Hiding your true power for so long." Catherine shrugged. "We learned early that the galaxy is not a safe place. Species that appear strong attract challenges. Species that appear weak are underestimated. We chose to be underestimated. She set down her cup and looked directly at the former admiral. Your empire has conquered 17 star systems. How many of those species tried to surrender peacefully before you attacked them? Zorith was silent. The answer, they both knew, was all of them. We considered that path, Catherine continued. We could have revealed our true strength and tried to negotiate from a position of power. But your empire does not negotiate. You take what you want. So we decided to let you think we had nothing worth taking. And then we showed you the truth when it was too late for you to do anything about it. 3 months after the invasion, Earth was ready to send its own message to the galaxy. Secretary General Daniel Price stood before cameras in the rebuilt United Nations building. Behind him, representatives from every nation on Earth formed a silent wall of unity. This broadcast would be sent on every frequency in every direction, reaching every corner of known space. To all civilizations who share the stars with us, Daniel began, his voice calm and strong. We are humanity. For many years, we watched the sky and wondered if we were alone. We discovered that we were not, and we discovered that some of those who share the universe with us do not come in peace. The camera showed images of the Vel-3 fleet approaching Earth. Then, the moment of its destruction, the Vel-3 Empire sent 12,000 warships to conquer our world. They believed we were weak. They believed we would surrender. They were wrong. Their fleet no longer exists. Their soldiers are our prisoners. Their invasion has failed. Daniel's expression hardened slightly. We want the galaxy to understand something about humanity. We do not seek war. We do not want to conquer other worlds or enslave other species. We wish only to live in peace, to explore, to grow, to learn alongside any civilization that will extend the same courtesy to us. He paused, letting his words settle. But we are not victims. We have never been victims. For 80 years we prepared for this day, hoping it would never come, but knowing it might. We built weapons capable of destroying any fleet that threatens us. We trained soldiers who can defeat any enemy. We developed technology that makes us equal to any power in the galaxy. The camera moved to show Commander Samuel Drake, General Catherine Moore, Dr. Linda Foster, and dozens of other heroes of the defense, all standing together. These are some of the people who protected Earth. There are thousands more you will never see. They worked in secret for decades, sacrificing normal lives so that all of humanity could have a future. They are the reason we are still free today. Daniel turned back to face the camera directly. To those who would come to Earth with hostile intentions, know this. We have shown you only a fraction of what we can do. The weapon that destroyed the Vel-3 fleet was our first line of defense, not our last. We have more. Much more. And we will use everything we have to protect our home. His voice softened, becoming almost gentle. To those who wish for peace, we welcome you. Our planet is beautiful, and our people are curious. We have much to learn from the civilizations that came before us, and perhaps we have something to teach as well. We hope that our first contact with alien life was an exception, not a rule. We hope that somewhere among the stars, there are others who value friendship over conquest. He straightened his shoulders and delivered his final words. Earth is not alone anymore. The galaxy knows we exist. But Earth has never been defenseless, and it never will be. We are humanity. Remember that name? The broadcast ended. In the months that followed, responses came from across the galaxy. Some species sent warnings, telling humanity that the Vel-3 would return with larger forces. Others sent curious messages, wanting to know more about the strange beings who had defeated an empire. A few sent friendship proposals, hoping to establish trade and cultural exchange. The Vel-3 Empire itself remained silent. Their pride had been shattered, and they needed time to recover. But everyone knew they would return eventually. An empire that had conquered 17 star systems would not accept defeat quietly. On Earth, the work continued. New weapons were developed. New ships were built. New soldiers were trained. The secret facilities beneath the mountains expanded. It's preparing for whatever challenge might come next, Captain. Nathan Cole was released from Vel-3 captivity and returned home as a hero. He retired from active duty and spent his remaining years writing about his experiences, hoping to inspire future generations. Commander Samuel Drake was promoted to admiral and given command of Earth's expanding fleet. He spent long hours staring at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, enemies were planning their next move. Dr. Linda Foster continued her research, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. She knew that the harmonic disruption array would not remain unbeatable forever. Sooner or later, someone would develop a counter. Earth needed to be ready with the next innovation. General Catherine Moore became the head of the newly formed Global Defense Council, a unified military command that brought all of Earth's nations together under one strategic umbrella. The old divisions remained in many ways, but when it came to defending their world, humanity spoke with one voice, and in a prison facility in Switzerland, Admiral Zorith continued to study humanity. He had been offered the chance to return to his empire, but he had refused. Something about these strange creatures fascinated him. They were impossible contradictions, weak and strong, divided and united, peaceful and deadly. Perhaps, he thought, there was something to learn from them after all. The stars continued to shine. The galaxy continued to turn. And Earth, the small blue planet that had appeared so weak, stood ready for whatever came next. Humanity had announced itself to the universe. The universe would never be the same.